right, it is time for another episode of Drinks at Sunset with
The Wise Guys.
How you doing today, man?
Hey.
I'm J. Anthony McCarthy.
I'm Steve Sabo.
And we are two men of a certain age making our way in Los Angeles and trying to live as actors in Hollywood.
Yes, indeedy.
And so since we're having the drinks, what are we drinking today?
I'm drinking Dr. Pepper and the spice rum, the Oakwood.
So something new. Okay.
Yeah, well, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking something completely different.
That's right.
I'm having Canadian Mist with Coca-Cola.
Oh, I've never heard of that before.
Normally,
except for what you drink every week.
Normally, I just have Canadian Mist with Coca-Cola, but today,
Yeah.
Anyway, you can hear us every week on X-Site Radio at 11 p.m. on Thursday nights, or you can go listen to any of our back episodes on iTunes. You can find it under Drinks at Sunset, The Wise Guys.
Yes, Drinks at Sunset with The Wise Guys.
You can also find us at thewiseguys.net. That is thewiseguys.net.
That's our website.
Yeah, that is indeed.
We got a lot of videos there.
We do. We have a lot of videos. All the stuff that we've done over the last couple of years, working together and stuff, Yeah.
We've done about 3 or 4 years, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, a couple.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And if you have any questions or you want to ask us, talk to us a little bit about something we should be talking about, email us at sswiseguys@aol.com. That's sswiseguys with an S at AOL.com.
And finally, on YouTube, you can find our channel, which has some of the videos we talked about in the other one.
And our Doritos commercial.
TV. Yeah. The Wise Guys TV. The Wise Guys TV. All right. Well, that takes care of some of that. Who's our friend over at X-Site Radio? What's his name?
Patrick?
Patrick, yeah. What's the name of his show?
Geek Speak.
Geek Speak. Yeah, I want to talk to him sometime. I think that'll be a lot of fun. It's
nice. Well, they come on Friday, so they come on after us. So
Okay.
It's a good show if you like geek news and geek topics and anything dealing with geek stuff.
Yeah.
They put in a lot of good ideas, a lot of good topics. They get guests on their show, and they do it live at the studio. So you actually see the video as well,
as opposed to the secret bat lair that we tape from. So
that's right.
Anyways, as we said, we're both actors. We're both making our way in L.A. Now, you've had a development that came up that's going to let you stay here for a little while and continue to be an actor out here.
That's right.
In L.A.
That's right. I was last couple of months have been a little bit tough because I kept my house in South Carolina when I moved out here and been renting it, and as a landlord, I guess is what you would call me. It's great when you got put somebody in the house, but when it's empty, it's a little rough. And
you're still paying a mortgage on it.
Exactly. Yeah. And so for the last couple of months, it's been empty. But my rental management property managers found a new lease. What are we? Leasee or
lessee?
Lessee. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they signed a 2-year lease, which is great. And I helped them out a little bit with the security deposit, so it was a win-win. And so as a result, I have no place to go, so I'm here for another 2 years. So that's good, though. That gives me a solid 10 years out here making a go at it. And these next 2 years, I think, are going to be exciting.
Yeah, I think so, too. So what kind of stuff's going on for you this last week? How's work been going? What's been going on for you?
Work's been good. The neat thing about my job is I walk in on businesses and doing what they call a courtesy check, just seeing if they're having any issues or problems with any of your doors. I work for Vortex Doors, and it's a part-time job, so it gives me some freedom. But I get out and about, and I meet people and I talk to people, which is nice. And so I'm walking, and it doesn't matter the type of business. I would prefer commercial or industrial, but I also walk in on retail because they have dooring and security issues as well.
Yeah, most places have doors, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. So. Entrance and exits as well as gates. And I walked into an industry store called Film Tools, and it was like a kid in a candy store. I mean, you had everything you would need on a set. They had lighting. They had all kinds of stands, things like that. All kinds of. They had 2 or 3 jib arms. Really, $20,000, $30,000 jibs. So I mean,
was it all?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on, I got that in my
So they had some. Sure. They had some decent stuff as well as smaller scale stuff. And then back they had a camera room. And
I heard that you fell in love.
Yes,
apparently, while you were at this, you
fell in love.
met someone and fell in love.
I fell in love a lot in this store, and but the cameras were really nice, and the gentleman Jim was nice enough to walk me through some demos on a couple of higher end cameras, what we call I would say professional cameras.
Right.
In fact, the C3 was it the C300 is what they're using right now to shoot a lot of TV, and the little brother of it is a C100, which is about a $5,000 camera, but has the same chip.
Uh-huh.
And it's just incredible low light capabilities, and just and he was walking. He says, if you're going to be shooting a TV series or a TV show, you're going to be doing setup. So you're going to do a setup here is going to take you 15 minutes to do lighting for the next setup, and then 15 minutes to do lighting for the next setup, and so on. And so in one scene you might do 4 or 5 setups just because you got to do a 2-shot, a master, a 2-shot, and then two
Over the
close-ups,
shoulders.
close-ups.
Right.
So, there's your 4 shots, and now you're looking at 15 minutes, 20 minutes to set up for lighting, where with this camera, he says, because of the low lighting, you're not going to need that type of time frame to do setups because it'll shoot in low light. So you
Right.
don't need 7, 8 lights. You might get by with 2, maybe
Right.
3. So your setup times are going to be dramatically, if not cut in half, cut down by a third. So, instead of being able to shoot maybe 10 setups in a day, you might be able to shoot 15, 20. So it just makes you a lot more productive.
A lot more efficient.
Efficient, and then now you're, and he says, when you get on these gigs and you say, well, it's going to take me 10 days, and you get paid for 10, you signed a deal that it's going to take me 10 days. Well, if you shoot it in 3, you still get the same money.
Yeah.
Because you can work your way through the setups. And so that's where he says this camera is a real benefit for people that are trying to take it seriously. And he opened up my eyes in a lot of respects because the shoots that we've been doing don't really have a lot of setups. So those types of concepts haven't really been forefront and to
Right.
even worry about.
Right.
With the exception of Doritos, where we did have some setups because we were shooting in a couple different scenes.
Right.
But when you start getting into more, established shooting where you're shooting either shows or films, then you got to start working that into the equation, and that makes a lot of sense. So definitely got my eye on those cameras.
Nice.
Canon C100s.
I've been on a couple of different sets over the last month or so, the smaller sets, and everybody there, as they're trying to do their professional sound, which is a big deal.
Yep.
Because sound really makes a difference in the final product. The thing that they've been using is a Zoom H4n. It's this little box
Okay.
that has 2 coaxial mics built into it.
Seen it? Yep.
But it also has the plugins for stuff at the bottom, and it's got so many different functions on it. And I've just been staring at that thing on Amazon the last few days trying to figure things out. So it's been interesting for me trying to not go, hey, I'm going to buy this, because I don't know when I'm going to use it, because I don't do the sound usually. I just want to be in front of the camera, saying the words and be done. But I'm trying to think in terms of being producer and having the equipment to do stuff, and that's kind of like the next step. And it's not earth-shakingly expensive. It's a
$100?
$150 to $170 depending upon where you're looking for it right now.
Yeah.
It's not that expensive. And this is the newest generation of the box, of the H4n, because it was an H4, now it's the H4n.
Nice.
It's just it's got stuff in it that is just kind of astonishing in what you can accomplish. It's set up so that if you want to attach lavaliers, you can do that. If you want to attach a boom, you can do that. If you want to plug in like our little setup here, you can do that. It's all the same thing, and it records to an SD card.
Okay.
And so all you got to do is do your little action, kind of
Right.
thing, so that you know how to sync it up, and boom. you know.
I got a juice box, which is similar, but
Right.
it's different.
Yeah.
Similar but different.
Yeah. Well, the juice box gives you the sound and everything else.
It gives me amplification as well as being able to use coaxial plugins.
Yeah. But the H4n,
XML, what?
the XML or XLR cables or whatever.
Yeah, it allows me to plug in and also use a mic jack. So But
The H4n actually lets you do mixing on it.
yeah, those
It's
are really
astonishing.
nice, really nice.
So, yeah. So I mean, I see that both of us are looking at stuff, and I was also looking at some of the lavalier sets that are out there and all those things just to have it, And we've got enough between what you've put together and some of our friends and everything. We've got enough stuff to shoot whatever we want, whenever we want, pretty much.
Yeah. I think this next step up is the camera, and the only I buy a camera tomorrow for if I had the disposable income. But the flip side of that is you get you're kind of starting over with learning how to use the camera.
Huh.
So there's going to be a learning curve for at least for me,
Right.
Unless I can get somebody who's worked with these cameras, because this is a nicer piece of equipment. It's going to be able to do 50 to 100 more things, and those are 50 or 100 more things I got to learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In order to get the most out of that camera.
True.
Because just to buy and use it the way I'm using this, what we're using now, it'd be a waste of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you want to be able to get the most you can out of it, and it's going to, there's some learning curve in there. So, but still, it's definitely, down the road, it's going to be something we're going to upgrade to. So.
Yeah. So what's been going on with the job? I mean, you.
Well, like I
did-
said, the job's pretty good.
Yeah.
The only thing is with the holidays and with school, because I do teaching an after school program as my second part-time job. That's been a little sporadic because a lot of schools are off for breaks and these programs only run X amount of weeks, and I'm at the tail end of them, so they won't pick up again until after the first of the year, if not middle of the month. So I'm going to be a little lean. These last 2 months have been a little lean when it comes to just paying my bills, but I got a little cushion, so I'm working off of that. The big whew off my forehead was getting my house rented.
House
And
rented,
yeah,
man.
because that was double dipping on me, and so now that's going to be taken care of. I think she's moving in either this week or next week. So, and it's I get a prorated portion of the month out of it, so it's not going to be quite that big of a chunk out of the income. But
That's fantastic.
yeah, so that's good, and and now with after the first of the year, I'm going to now that I know I got another 2 years out here, I'm going to start getting a little bit more proactive with the getting myself out there in front of people. So
Nice.
you were mentioning that.
I wish I'd realized. Here's something that I didn't realize that you liked farce so much from the standpoint of theater. And I had an opportunity to audition for a French farce by Molière, the show Tartuffe, which is coming up in spring. If I'd realized that, said something to them and gotten you in on an audition. But now I know, so if something else comes up, or if they're like, yeah, we're still looking for somebody, or we need an understudy or something, who knows?
You never know.
But so I get that. That's good. And
How'd your week go?
Good.
I heard
I had a
little
couple-
bird
let's-
told me that there might be some news you
Yeah.
might be able to talk to us
Well,
about.
yeah, there was some.
Bird, I don't know.
Yeah,
I shot it with a BB gun.
Yeah. So actually, some decent news for me this week. First of all, my massage business. I have my first booking outside of working for UCLA with some reality TV show. I met the
On the studio.
yeah, it's going to be on a set.
Nice.
And he wanted to have 2 hours or something. And he I
How'd you
told
meet
him
him?
my top rate. This is a guy who's actually a friend of a friend, and I met him. Gosh, I think through it was at a holiday party or something like that recently.
Okay.
This is something
Your
I'm
manager's
trying-
party?
Might have been, or maybe been before that. But just somebody was like, "Hey, I do this. Oh, yeah, that's right, you do that." And okay, yeah. When do you, and just kind of trying to make sure that I do tell everybody as I meet him that this is one of the things that I do. And sure enough, I get a call, and he's like, "Yeah, I need you for 2 hours." So that's going to happen tomorrow. So I've got a little bit of money coming in there, which is good. Not a lot, but anything.
Money's
is good.
money.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And there's also some things happening there. I got some good work from UCLA a little earlier in the month. So
Right.
I'm going to be house sitting for a friend and taking care of their cats. So I'm going to make a couple of bucks doing that.
Oh, good.
Now I'm saying all this stuff first because I want you to know this is what happens to an actor out here unless they're ultra professional, ultra successful, not professional, because I am professional. I'm good at what I do.
Yeah, just because you're successful does not mean you're professional.
It's true,
okay?
and vice versa. But I also had an audition a little over a week and a half ago.
What? What was it for?
It was for the new Kelsey Grammer Martin Lawrence show.
Oh, okay.
That's going to be shooting right now and possibly be used as a mid-year replacement or
Is this
summer
going to be
show or something
for a
like that.
pilot or
No,
has
the
it been
pilot
picked
has
up?
already been shot, as far as I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm in one of the earlier episodes, but it's a small role where this is a relatively unsuccessful law firm, and I'm a client who doesn't have any money, so he pays by dropping off, steaks from his market to these guys. You know?
And you did this without facial hair?
I did this without facial hair. Yeah, that was my audition. And what's fascinating is I found out about this the day after I had a conversation with a friend, saying it's been a tough year, and there's some auditions where I just have no idea why I didn't get it, and there's others where I do. And I used this one as an example because there were other guys who were a little older than me, who were a little more pathetic looking, all of this stuff. And I get told by my manager, not only did I book it, but that I was the only choice. These were the words that were used to me, that I was the only choice. They were like, we want that guy. And it was,
we want that guy because he drops off meat good.
yeah. And it was done from an audition tape. It was like, I went into the casting director's office. I read for her twice because she asked me to do it a second time just because, her little words. Let's do it a second time just because.
And did you change it up a little bit, or?
I changed it just a tiny bit. The only thing that I did really different was this. Because I only had 2 lines, and because the last line out of the Martin Lawrence character's mouth is a joke about, well, next time you have a beef, we know where to get the beef, something to that effect.
Yeah. You punched it up.
What I did was I said, oh, wow, it never gets old. Like I'm really grateful to you, but ouch, this is starting to hurt. And I don't know if that's what sold them. I don't even know if they watched that far into the tape because that was.
You just don't know, but you don't care.
But yeah, and I just this second time I kind of switched that up. I said yeah, I got to go. It was a pleasure, but it was great to know. So I'm starting off the new year because my work will be the first week of January. I've got 1 day for sure, possibly 2.
Woo!
And there is a slim possibility, an incredibly slim possibility, that the character
could come back. Yes.
Could recur at some point in time. So, that's... it's a new sitcom. Who knows what may come of it? What a great way to start the year. And a mutual friend of ours who has been. I just want to mention this because of
go ahead. Go ahead.
Because the way this business works and everything. A mutual friend of ours, a guy named Scott Rudolph. He plays. He's been on the show Big Bang Theory. He is Captain Sweatpants.
Oh, yeah, Scott.
And Scott has been, but because he's never said a word, he has not been considered a character or regular or anything like that. He's been paid as basically an extra every time he's been brought on the show. Well, in the 5th season this year, Captain Sweatpants finally speaks. And so he just shot, a week ago, he shot his episode where he, got to be the guy who spoke, and B, got paid as a principal.
Nice.
So I'm very, very pleased for him. He's never complained about that. He's part of their canon. Like when people talk about the show, Captain Sweatpants comes up. I know that he's actually been to,
this is Big Bang
conventions
Theory?
And everything. Yeah, Big Bang Theory. He's been to conventions and everything because
so many times I've never seen the character, but maybe I just.
He's just one of those guys that walks through every once in a while.
Got it.
So,
Well, good for him.
But yeah, so it's one of those things. This is a guy who's an entrepreneur out here. He works part-time as the manager of a apartment building. He has an eBay site where he buys stuff from China and sells it here. These wonderful Coachman bags. Not
okay.
Coachman. I'm sorry. They're men's leather messenger bags. They look like a Coachman's bag, not the high rent ladies' pocketbooks. So it's one of those things that it just goes to show you don't know. I mean, like, he's been working for this show for 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
And he's been recognized as a character on it by the audience, but by the producers and by the definition of what goes on and what's on there, he, hadn't been listed or paid
as a principal, yeah.
As a principal,
other than backup, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where it's just hanging in there, just stepping up, hanging in there, being a part of this, believing in this. It's just one of those things that's really tough to do, but you have to if you want to make it. So
Well, is it? It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
That old cliche, but
Yeah,
it's so true.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know. Now, can we finally put to bed? Can we put it to bed
What?
that you haven't booked something in X amount of time? Can we put it to
Yeah,
bed? Because
yeah,
guess what?
I
You
booked
booked
something.
something,
I did.
baby.
Yeah, I did.
You
I'm
booked
very-
something,
I'm
and you
very
booked it
pleased.
this year. You're shooting it next year, so
Yeah.
you got both years covered now.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
But
you
I
got
gotta-
it for this year, and you're shooting it next year.
Yeah.
Now, what more? I mean, other than
Well, working enough to where I actually pay my
Yeah,
bills
but
with acting, or
still,
or
that's
more.
pretty strong.
Pay off my debt and stuff like that. That's what more I ask for. But
no. I'm saying that's pretty strong.
I am
That's
not
there.
looking this gift in the mouth. I'm not, gift horse in the mouth. This is something I worked hard towards and that I
Exactly.
earned.
So how'd you
But
feel
I'm
after the audition?
Very grateful. Hey, the audition was fun. As a matter of fact, that was the day I told you I walked on a set and I saw Amiana as I was walking in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who didn't
That-
recognize me? Yeah.
She didn't know who you were.
No, I literally. walked
Amiana,
up-
shame on you.
Yeah.
You should have realized that this man was booking.
Yeah. Well, first, I don't think she's ever seen me without the facial hair. So, but and I didn't really get a chance to
been
talk
over
to
a
her
year,
for too
though.
long.
It's been over a year.
a while.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to talk to her very much. Amiana helped us out a lot on a couple of seasons of We Pick the Winners.
That's right.
As
She was one of our main characters.
Vanessa Fitch.
At that time, she was a trivia girl.
Trivia girl. She was one of our mainstay trivia girls. And,
Yeah.
And she was wonderful. She was here every week, always had a good attitude, always had fun with us. And,
Absolutely. We've been blessed in that regard with a few, if only one exception, where we had people that came who really wanted to play,
Yeah.
wanted to be here, and
Yeah.
she was definitely one of those people, and it was good having that type of ambiance or whatever,
Yeah.
or essence,
Yeah.
you know,
Energy, however you want to
energy.
put it,
Yeah,
you know.
it's good to have that.
Amiana,
on-
you had Alyssa LeBlanc, you had Anna Walters, Darshell, I can't remember her last name. I'm embarrassed. Brunson. Thank you. Those are all people that showed up on her. And Melinda Ratner.
Yeah.
You know.
What's the Tiffany glass? What was
Amanda.
Yeah, Amanda Diaper, and then oh boy, I can't remember her name, but it'll come to me.
Yeah,
But
Erin
anyway,
Howie.
Erin Howie,
who we missed because she was with us. Still one of the best moments.
Erin Miller, she was nice too,
Yeah.
with Dr. A.
Yeah.
But we and then of course our cast of crazy characters.
Yeah.
That would kind of work its way back into the show. Craig Pierman playing Stan Spielberg, and Andy
Forrest as
is Captain
Guinness O'Hare. Yeah.
My favorite line watching the Super Bowl last year
Was?
is when Carlito goes, "It's Captain Guinness O'Hare," and he goes, "Yes, that's right. Why can't he?
Why can't you get my name right?"
He goes, "He got my name right. Why can't you guys get my name right?" That's so funny.
You don't think we do it deliberately, huh?
That's so funny.
Yeah, it was a great
I'm
thing.
sorry,
so.
that stuff cracks me up.
But and then we go back to the purpose of this podcast. I mean, we're reaching out to you guys anybody who's interested in this, but we're also trying to let you know this is what we do just to keep our chops up. We're trying to do something, have something in production, have something going all the time, so that when we go into a casting director's office, or if we actually get called to producers or network or anything like that, they get to say, so what have you been doing? Or I see you've been doing this, and you get to go, that's right. You haven't spent the last 6 months just bartending or quote unquote just. It's never just. You're trying to live your life. You're trying to pay your bills.
Right.
But you're doing something within the business, even if it's something you're making up for yourself. That's what so many people have done in a good way.
And technology has helped out in a tremendous way of allowing us to do that. YouTube is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Pricing of camcorders now with high def, now to the point where you can use a phone to shoot something that looks halfway decent. And then what you were talking about, the little mic thing you were talking about, is only $1.50. I mean, you go back 2-3 years, those things are in the thousands of dollars each.
Yep. And some of the cameras that you're talking about, even the camera that you're talking about, the $5,000 camera, a couple of years ago was twice that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So.
And or even 3 times that because of the quality. But the point is it's allowed us as actors to have that opportunity to be able to do to stay creative if you have the initiative to do that, because you have to get off the couch, you have to do something to stay creative, because people aren't knocking on your door going, "Hey Steve, why don't you come on over and help me out with this project?"
Here's some money.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, I'm going to pay you, and so that doesn't happen, unfortunately enough. In fact, it rarely happens, if at all. So you have to make a conscious effort of, and when I say you as an actor, have to make a conscious effort of trying to be creative on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, because it's so easy to look around and 3 months go by and you're sitting there going, "What the hell? What have I done lately? Nothing."
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I haven't had an audition. I haven't done this. I haven't done blah,
boys
blah,
play.
blah, blah.
This place sucks, and then start all you want to do is start being negative about things. And you know what? You got to look yourself in the mirror, because it starts with you.
Yeah.
And that's the hard. That's the work part of this business, is constantly working to get yourself motivated to do things that are creative, and also consistently do things that allow you to have an opportunity, so somebody down the road can say, "Hey Steve, I saw this video that you were in. You did a nice job. Why don't you come on in and help me out with this, or I want you to read for that."
Right.
And you just don't know when that's going to happen. But when it does, you go, "Okay, that makes sense, because this led to this knocked into that, this leaned up over there, this knocked over that," and then before you know it, a guy says, "Hey, I saw this video, you were great. How'd you come up with the idea, and or why don't you help me out with my project?" And now that leads to the next thing, which leads to the next thing, and now all of a sudden someone is throwing money at you, or someone is saying, "Hey, I want to book you for this role," and that's the big part about this business, that when you come out here, you don't understand, or you don't realize how important that is until you get out here.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned this last time, but I'm going to use it as an example again, because all the things that we're doing, all the creative stuff that we're doing, part of the reason that we're doing it is also to try and meet other creative people and kind of synergize and make something happen. There's Joss Whedon, who's very successful. He's had a lot of good shows on TV.
You think? Yeah, I would say
and
hugely successful.
A bunch of the actors whom he knows and whom he has had cast in his shows, because they liked each other, because they're creative, they would keep in touch, and they would get together, and they would go to his place, and they would read Shakespearean plays together. Why? Just for the heck of it. Just because it was fun to do it. Because they would cast it, and they would get to play with it and everything else. And because of that, right after doing the Avengers, Joss Whedon decided to shoot Much Ado About Nothing at his house in black and white, with all the actors that he's worked with and all these people who showed up that came to his thing. Now, all of them are successful actors. All of them are doing fine right at the moment. But they're doing exactly what the rest of us are doing, in that we're trying to make sure that creative people, particularly creative people who are doing good work, know who you are and want to work with you and want to be a part of that, and know that you bring something to the table, something creative yourself. And that's one of the big things about, if you want to talk about networking or anything like that out here. It's yes, they say it's not it's who you know. Not
well,
what
so,
you can do.
There's a big part of that.
That's the way it is in almost any business on some level.
Right.
If you are familiar, or if you are introduced by someone who is familiar to whomever is running the business, whether it's a corporate thing or whether it's a studio, whether it's a movie, whether it's a play. Yes, somebody will take a little second longer to deal with you, but you still can get in the door and you can still do something as long as you show people that you're interested and that you're good at what you do. So,
Right. Speaking of plays,
yeah.
how's your play going?
It's doing very well. This is closing weekend. I got tonight, Thursday night, which is tonight, and then Friday and Saturday, and that's it because we go into Christmas next week, it's going very well. We've had really good response. Some of the people who've come in have taken the time to write short little reviews
Nice.
online for the place where they bought their tickets, and we've gotten nothing but good response because it's a wonderful life, but there's a little story wrapped around it that makes it even more. It's not just a regurgitation of "It's a Wonderful Life."
Right. Okay.
It's that within the woven
Play
into
within the
show.
play, yeah.
Exactly right. So, and it's going well, and I'm happy. I'm a part of the cast.
And
People seem
I'm
to
happy
enjoy
to
it.
come out and see you tomorrow night.
Yes, yeah.
So I
I'm
appreciate
glad
that,
you're going to be
and,
there. So.
And I was also happy that you were nice enough to join me to a what would you call that? I guess you would
Christmas
call it
extravaganza.
Christmas extravaganza at my church.
Yep.
It's called Nativity the Musical.
Yep.
I think this was like the 8th or 9th rendition that they've done it.
And
your
writers have no fear.
Yes, right. And I've been in it in years past, but the last couple of years I haven't. Some of it is due to the fact that I've gone through some personal issues with the family,
Right.
losing my parents, and being out of town this time of year makes it tough to do the play. And but anyways, I always try to, if I can't be in it, I always try to at least come and see it. And I, for your birthday, had you be my guest, come see the show. Mm-hmm. And I I thought I prepared you a little bit, saying it's not your typical nativity.
No.
And
Not by a long shot.
And needless to say, it's a lot of fun.
It is.
I think
It is
it's
fun.
fun.
You see people of talent of all different levels,
Yes.
Including a couple of top-notch professional actors who devote their time to it.
Yep.
People of different levels of performance ability, even vocally.
Yep. Oh my gosh, yes. It's a cast of over 100 people.
Yep.
Including preschool kids all the way up to, like you said, professional actors.
Yep.
And it's put on by the parish of the church, and but it's not your typical biblical nativity story, although the nativity story is there.
Yeah.
And we have characters from all facets of history.
Yep.
and creation. Captain Crunch is there. Abraham Lincoln's there.
Yep.
Santa Claus is there.
Yeah. Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Slayer. is
Yes,
there,
right.
so.
This year he was a vampire slayer.
Yeah.
We also had callbacks from Saturday Night Live, Land Shark.
Yeah, the Land Shark from 1975.
And we had, what else did
The
we
Von Trapp family.
The Von Trapp
from the
family
music,
doing the Thriller.
Sound of Music, doing Thriller.
Which is always a favorite of
Yeah.
mine. That's what they did that last year, and I think that was the first year they did it, and it just blew me away.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And also they did the Rocky Picture Horror Show.
Yeah, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, that too.
They did a modified version of the Time Warp.
The Time Warp, that's it.
They made it friendly for a church.
And that was the nativity scene, which is nice. And also we had the Book of Mormon there.
Yeah, Book of Mormon.
Hello, which I thought was
Hello,
fantastic.
hello.
Those guys did great.
They were marvelous. at what
They were
did.
really good.
And the guy who played King Herod, who they managed.
W.
Okay,
Brown,
how on
a
earth?
working actor.
This is the thing that just it's like. I mean, you guys are fearless. In a church for the nativity, we managed to get a version of the Rolling Stones' "Simply for the Devil," a parody version, into a church play,
Right.
and it worked.
It worked great, didn't it?
For King Herod, and it was just like,
Don't you know my name?
yeah,
right?
holy mackerel! They made it work, and wait a minute, this is called simply no, it's not. But holy mackerel, they managed to. Wow, okay, Well, I keep going back to the
And
time.
we had Mario. Super Mario was in there.
Super Mario was one of the Von Trapp
children.
I'm adopted.
I'm adopted. Yeah.
So yeah.
And of course, there's a lot of corn.
Oh,
stuff.
boy.
Yeah, a lot of corny stuff. But it's fun. It's fun. And what's nice is the story's still there. So there are some serious moments and some very, very incredible singing from some of the girls that go to the church that just have phenomenal voices.
Yeah, yeah.
And
the one girl who was the actual star of Bethlehem.
Yeah,
she was
Nevada.
Wonderful. Yeah. I will say this from my own standpoint, being a pain in the ass. They could have taken the air out of it. It didn't have to be 2 hours.
Yeah, well.
We probably could have gotten that down to about an hour 35, hour 40.
Yeah, but you see, that's not Greg Baldwin. Yeah. He instead of, because it was in years past about that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It wasn't always 2 hours. This is the first year I think it's been 2 hours.
I would have been better for my butt bones.
I think it's because, well, also because we squeezed into
a pew.
Into a pew that was already overloaded. But he seems to want to add more songs and more bits as opposed to cutting it down and just getting, But anyways, it was a lot of fun. I'm glad you were there to share.
I enjoyed it, and thank you for inviting me to it.
Because it meant a lot for you to be there. So.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and it's not, and to be honest, not something I would have done on my own.
Right, and again, I always, I've talked about it the last few years, and you're always looking at me like, okay, yeah, sure, Steve, without knowing really what I was talking about. Now you do, so now you have an idea.
I definitely do. So, this is the time of year that it's good to think about other people.
Okay.
I really want to make sure that we throw in the idea that it is the holidays, whatever your background, religion, whatever it is. This is the time of year that we kind of choose to really pay attention to that. And I know that you have a charity that you're very attached to. So if you want to, we've talked about it in the past, but we're going to talk about it again.
Yeah, it's called Food for the Poor, and the website's foodforthepoor.org. And this is where you can help third world children, feed them. So people around the world. The biggest thing is what can we do to help? Well, obviously, hungry kids is a problem, and so not everybody is blessed with what we have. Even though we sit here and gripe about our money and our situations, but we're probably better off than 90% of the world out there.
I have a car. I have a roof over my head.
Exactly.
I have hot and cold
We're
running water.
We're drinking drinks.
Yep.
I mean, we're compared to what some of the world has to deal with. We're very blessed.
Yep.
So what I like about this charity is 95% of anything that's donated goes to the end result, which is feeding the kids.
So very little goes to the administration.
Exactly.
It's not used
No
to
waste.
line the pockets
Exactly.
of the people who are there. It's
Right.
an actual charity.
And here's the other part about it that just floors me, but this is the reality of it. This is how efficient this charity is. $44, a one-time gift of $44. Not per month, not a week, whatever. Just a one-time gift of $44 will feed a child for a year 2 meals a day.
That's 365 days. That's 730 meals.
Yeah.
For
For $44,
$44.
that's pennies a day that your donation is going to help a child eat. And we're, of course, we're not talking about caviar or steak and all that, but it's a meal, and it's something that they wouldn't be getting without our help. So foodforthepoor.org. Give what you can, and give if you can.
Yeah, and I'll mention because again, it's one of those things that to me it's important to be a good thing about efficient places that will really give the money to the end recipient. Boys and Girls Clubs of America are
Absolutely
excellent at doing that,
and even Salvation Army too. With the red buckets and the guy ringing the bell. This is the time of year where they get their donations. So throw your pocket change in there. Every little bit helps.
Yeah.
So we don't have the Avengers to talk about because
They're
on hiatus until after the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Arrow on hiatus till after the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
There really wasn't a lot of the shows that I have normally set up for being put on my DVR here. But I just saw an article that Paul Rudd, Paul Rudd, the actor,
Yeah,
he's
I
being
think
considered
I think he's
for
wonderful.
the character of Ant-Man which is going to be I think a standalone movie that's coming out in 2015, as well as could be incorporated into the third Avengers movie.
Yeah.
As a main character because he was an original
Avenger.
Original Avenger.
Hank Pym, Dr. Henry Pym.
Yeah. So an interesting choice. What's your thought about that?
I like Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is an excellent actor. Paul Rudd is a funny guy.
Oh, absolutely.
He's got the running gag on Conan O'Brien every time he goes into do hype for his newest film. They'll say, let's roll the clip, and he always shows this. For the last 17 years, he's done this every time he's been on the show. They show the same clip from a really crappy 80s movie called Mac and Me. It's an E.T. ripoff. They show this same clip every single time, and Conan knows it's coming and still can't keep him from doing it. So, and Paul Rudd just sits there and kind of, deadpans it all the way through. Paul Rudd has the sensibility to me. Because in the comic books, all right, here I go. Here's the nerd coming out and everything. In the comic books, Hank Pym was one of the most brilliant men in the world. He was brilliant on the level of Bruce Banner and Tony Stark, and he also was one of these guys who was both an interesting character, but he was also an alcoholic who, in the comic books, actually abused his wife at one point in time.
Wow.
That was one of the subplots, was that he started losing his confidence, he started losing his ability to do certain things as a superhero, as a super scientist and all this stuff, and he started getting abusive, and there's all these different things. Paul Rudd has a sensibility about him that makes me think he could actually carry off that depth of character. The same way that
we did it in 40-year-old version.
Yeah,
he had that.
Yeah, but the same way that Robert
anger
Downey,
about the ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, the same way that Robert Downey Jr. is able to bring all of his life experience and everything to the character of Tony Stark and do it in an excellent way, just a beautiful way.
Interesting point, because in the article that I read that was announcing Paul Rudd that could be, or it looks like he's going to get the part, that some of the naysayers were saying, well, he doesn't look like the action hero guy, but some of the same things were said about Robert Downey Jr. when he was doing Iron Man. He's not the action hero kind of guy, but after you saw him in the role, you're going, nobody else could play it.
Yep.
So I have a feeling Paul Rudd's going to pull that off.
If he's their choice, if he's the way they go, then absolutely. I think he would be excellent in it, and I think he's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think they could do a lot with it, because he will bring humor to it, just like Robert Downey Jr. brings humor to Tony Stark.
Yeah.
In that way,
even in the darkness that can go on.
Exactly.
And who knows if they're going to delve that far into the Ant-Man character, if they're going to look into some of the stuff that's from the comics like that. But so there's that. That's pretty cool.
Also, the upcoming Man of Steel. I just rented the Man of Steel movie. I saw it at the theaters,
right?
But I saw it when it came out,
right?
And I rented it again, and I liked it better this time, because I knew it was I knew what I didn't like, when I first saw it.
Yeah.
And I watched it, now just excuse me, just to see what I got out of the movie itself, and I really liked the beginning part of how they go through the story of Krypton and watching that materialize and how he gets here, and didn't spend a lot of time on his childhood, but then got right to Superman being Superman, and I my first reaction was, oh my gosh, he's so worried about killing that one family when they destroyed the whole city. And this is the first time you actually see Superman kill somebody.
Yeah.
Which he doesn't normally do.
Right.
But when I watched it this time around, it was still there that destroying all the city, but I don't know. It just didn't stick out as harsh as it did the first time I watched it, and watching his reaction after he killed Zod. I didn't pay a lot of attention to it because I was so shocked that he did it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where this time I really focused in on that reaction and on what he was going through, and I bought it. So I thought I liked the movie, and they're coming out with the new one, which I guess is going to have Batman in it, right? with Ben Affleck playing Batman.
Right.
And they're having Wonder Woman in it.
Oh.
And Gal, is it Gadot or Gadot?
Is it Godot?
Godot?
I don't know.
Yeah, she's going to be Wonder Woman in the upcoming Man of Steel movie.
She's the one who played Sif in the Thor movies, I think.
No, what did she play? She was in the last 4, what was it? Can you look it up?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Oh, okay. But, yeah, she's been announced that she's going to be Wonder Woman. And she's a strikingly beautiful woman, of course. Dark hair, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And what was she in the last?
The Fast Five?
Yeah, she was in the last 4 of the Fast and Furious movies.
Huh.
So that's where she's kind of well known in. But there it is, casting.
Israeli actress.
Yeah,
okay.
she's Israeli.
Oh, it's not who I thought it was. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I thought that.
Yeah, but look at that. She's a very, very beautiful woman.
Yeah.
And, looks like she has the power to bring to the role of Wonder Woman that's going to be needed. So it's going to be interesting to see that because they're putting together their own Justice League.
Right.
So to kind of combat or compete with the Avengers because the DC comics have the Justice League of America.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, I didn't see that one. That's even better. Yeah, she can definitely pull off Wonder Woman there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
IMDb some of the photos of her. She's a very, very beautiful woman.
Yeah. That's interesting because I had a friend who told me that I thought that the woman who played Sif in the Thor movies had gotten offered the role. That's interesting.
Well, she might have, but they went with Gal. At least that's what the article said. So that's gonna be good because you got Superman and Batman. I don't know if they're gonna be adversaries. It might be one of those love-hates type of thing or hate-love, where they hate each other until they love each other at the end to come together to defeat evil. But Wonder Woman is going to be interjected in that, so that's going to be interesting how they pull all those three together. You know,
That will be interesting. They're going to need hopefully she's a strong enough actress. So I don't know her work well enough because I haven't watched any of the Fast and Furious movies. So. But cool, good for her. It's always great to see people doing that.
Now I heard a little rumor from that same bird that I shot with a BB gun that you're on the SAG award committee.
No.
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 No. Okay. That's why I shot it with a BB gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
Moving on. So with that said, okay. I was going to say. I'm looking forward to seeing Jennifer Lawrence in American Hustle.
Oh yeah, so am I.
Yeah, that's what
I'm really enjoying.
I was trying to get there, so
okay.
I was just trying to use a transition. But let's
Sorry.
No problem. Let's change the subject a little bit. Get into one of our other favorite subjects, which keeps us occupied in some of our free time.
Yeah.
Which would be sports. Yeah. We're going to be talking about some football games here.
Some NFL.
NFL games.
Is it week 16 now?
Yes, week 16. And we got some good picks here. Let's see, how did we do last week? Let's see.
I have no idea.
We both got Denver there. Yeah, that's good. Last week. We both picked Atlanta over Washington. They won.
Yeah.
We both picked San Francisco over Tampa Bay. They won. You picked the Giants over Seattle?
Yeah.
That was a bad move.
Yeah.
Seattle won. We both picked Philly.
And Minnesota killed them.
And Minnesota killed them. You're right. We both picked Indy over Houston. We both picked Chicago over Cleveland. That was a tough game.
Yeah.
That was a tough game. We both picked KC over Oakland. That was a no-brainer. We both picked Charlotte over Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carolina.
Which was right.
Yep. We both picked you picked Arizona. I picked Tennessee. You won.
Yeah.
We both picked New Orleans over St. Louis. Which was no, they lost.
Yeah,
St. Louis killed them.
Yeah.
We both picked Cincinnati over Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh won.
Yep.
Wow. And we both picked Detroit.
Effectively, yeah.
We both picked Detroit over Baltimore because they're playing at home, and Baltimore won.
Yep.
And let's see, our bust-out games, we both picked Green Bay.
Yep,
and won. And we both picked Jacksonville, and the Bills actually won. How did that happen?
Good for them.
And we both how did that happen? And we both picked New England over Miami, and Miami won.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
some upsets there. That'll teach us for picking all the obvious.
Yeah.
So with that said, we got some new games this week.
Yeah, we do.
All right, let's start off. We got the 4-9-1 Minnesota Vikings at the 9-5 Cincinnati Bengals. Well, guess what? Cincinnati got their hat handed to them by Pittsburgh.
Yep.
It ain't going to happen this week.
Not twice in a row.
I like Cincinnati.
I'm looking at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's got something to prove, and they're trying to hang on for the playoffs. So I've got the 11-7. 11-3. I can't read.
I know.
11-3 Denver Broncos at the 2-12 Houston Texans. Here's the thing. I think Denver's definitely going to win this. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't, but their defense is playing so badly.
San Diego beat Denver last week. So
their defense is playing so badly, and Houston has nothing left to lose at all.
Yeah.
They
lost their quarterback, so you're right. Right now, they got nothing else to lose.
I still think Denver's going to win this one. They need to clinch their berth and all that stuff. They want to still see if they can get a shot at that home field advantage and everything else. So we're going with Denver.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got?
5-9 Tennessee Titans against the 4-10 Jacksonville Jaguars, who laid an egg against Buffalo. Tennessee almost came back and beat who was it? Tennessee, Arizona.
Yeah.
That went down. That was overtime.
Yeah.
And Fitzy threw like 4 touchdowns. Of course, he threw his typical interception at the end, which gave Arizona a chance to kick a field goal and win. Right. It's in Jacksonville.
Right.
I'm gonna stay on Fitzy's bandwagon. I'm going with Tennessee.
I'm going with them as well. That was the flip the coin that came up. So all right.
Okay.
So we got the 4-7 Cleveland Browns at the 6-8 New York Jets. Somebody's got to win that game. I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns just because. I have no particular reason beyond the fact that I think they're due for one. So.
Now, just so you know, every week the Jets, I think it's almost like every week they flip-flop. One week they win, the next week they lose. The next week they win, the next week they lose. And I think it's almost every week.
All right.
All right. They lost last week.
Oh, okay. So you're going to go with them this week?
So you're picking Cleveland?
Yeah.
I'm picking Cleveland too because I hate the fucking Jets. It's going to be 2 in a row, baby. Yeah. 2 in a row for the Jets. They're going to lose. Even though it's in New York, I don't care. Cleveland's playing tough ball. Mm-hmm. They should have won the last 2 weeks. Yep. I can't believe they didn't. They should have beat New England. They should have beat Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
9-5 Indianapolis Colts at the 11-3 Kansas City Chiefs.
Good game. Good game.
It could be a good game, but I think that the Chiefs' defensive front line is strong enough to give Mr. Luck fits, and he still doesn't have Reggie Wayne back. So I'm definitely taking the Kansas City Chiefs over.
Andrew Luck is a shell of a quarterback. He was the first of the year.
I think he's better than that, but he's just something is missing right now, and it's so.
I agree. You like KC?
Yeah, I'm taking KC on that one.
At home, I think they're a much stronger team. Even though I think Indy's got a quality team, they're getting good production out of their running game for a change. Donald Brown's actually come through for him, even though they traded for Richardson from Cleveland. Gave away a first-round pick. He's done virtually nothing. I think he had a decent game last week. I like KC in this one. 7-7 Dallas Cowboys at the 3-11 Washington Redskins, who has got RG3.
No.
RG3 is the practice scout quarterback now. All right, so he's been shut down for the rest of the year, and he's running the scout team. And you know what happened last week with Dallas, right? Tony Romo throwing it, they were up by 20 some odd points in the fourth quarter, whatever, and he threw 2 interceptions at the end, and they came back and Green Bay beat them by a point or something. So I think it's bounce back for Tony, even though they're playing on the road. I'm going with Dallas, even though I think Dallas sucks.
Yeah, I just
think Washington sucks more.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. So I'm going with Dallas as well. So.
Okay.
All right, 4-10 Tampa Bay is visiting the 6-8 St. Louis Rams. I'm saying the Rams are going to take this. Rams have shown real streaks of brilliance this year, and Tampa Bay has not.
Jeff Fisher's a good coach.
Yeah,
he's turned that team around. I like the Rams in this too. All right, 5-9 New York Giants against the 7-7 at Detroit Lions. Giants got crushed last week by who? Who was it? Giants got crushed by. They got crushed by Seattle or somebody like that?
Yeah, Seattle.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. No, it was Charlotte. Charlotte crushed them.
Not Charlotte, Carolina.
Carolina. Why do I keep saying Charlotte? It's Carolina. Yeah. And Detroit embarrassingly lost last week to Baltimore. That was terrible.
No, it was Seattle. The Giants.
Oh,
Talking
the
about
Giants, yeah, Seattle. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Jets lost to Carolina. There you go. So I like Detroit at home, bounce back week for them.
All righty. Okay, so
Who do you like?
I'm taking Detroit as well.
Okay.
All right. 9-5 Arizona Cardinals at 12-2 Seattle. Seattle's at home. Arizona's playing very well. Seattle has something to prove. They're going to win at home.
Yeah, this is for home field advantage throughout. They haven't lost in 2 years at home. It's tough to pick against Seattle. I like them too. 4-10 Oakland Raiders against the 7-7 San Diego Chargers. Oakland got hammered by somebody, KC last week, even though they were home. San Diego, big win over Denver last week.
Yep.
Big win.
Yep.
At home, I like San Diego.
Yeah, I'm going with that as well. So San Diego in that. So I don't think
Phil Rivers playing good ball, and they're getting something out of their running back Matthews.
If Peyton Manning wasn't playing this year, Philip Rivers would be the number one quarterback right now. So, and I think he has better stats than Peyton right now, which is scary, except for the number of touchdowns.
Yeah,
right?
he's got more touchdowns.
We got 6-8 Pittsburgh Steelers at 7-6-1 Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field, the frozen tundra. Pittsburgh played an incredible game last week. They jumped all over Cincinnati Bengals and then held on to the end. I know that Aaron Rodgers is not playing for Green Bay. It's going to be Matty Flynn again.
I think so, yep. They still haven't announced it, but it doesn't look good.
Yeah, I think that if it's Matt Flynn and the Pittsburgh Steelers come out roaring like they did, I'm picking the Steelers in this one. Even though it's Green Bay at home, it's tough to pick against. So,
all right, I like what you're thinking there, and the problem is Pittsburgh got eliminated.
Yeah.
Even though they won last week. They're playing for pride now.
Yeah.
Green Bay is in the thick of it.
Yeah.
It's a must-win for them at Lambeau. I'm going with Green Bay.
Yep. I don't think they have it to do it this year.
Yeah, I know. Even with Matt Flynn, I think they're going to have to find a way.
Okay.
10-4 New England Patriots at the 8-6 Baltimore Ravens. This is the rematch of the championship game last year, the AFC. It's in Baltimore. New England lost to Miami. Almost pulled it out, even Tom Brady style, trying to bring him back through an interception in the end zone on the last play of the game. Baltimore, big win, kicked 5 field goals. One of them was a 61-yarder to beat Detroit. It was an incredible game. This is going to decide who's going to the Super Bowl. I like Baltimore.
I don't like either team.
Well, let me rephrase that. I think Baltimore's going to win.
Yeah.
I don't like either team.
I don't like either team, but I get the feeling that Baltimore's going to put the screws to New England on this one, so I'm picking Baltimore on this as well.
Here's the thing. If Baltimore beats New England and we beat them next week, because the Bills play them next week as the last game of the year, New England could actually be knocked out of the freaking playoffs.
Which would make you very happy.
If Miami wins and New England loses the next two. Miami wins the last two, they'd be incredibly happy. So who are you going with?
I'm going with Baltimore.
Oh, you're going Baltimore too? You hate Baltimore. Yeah. All right, 8-6.
I don't like either team.
That's your turn.
8-6 Chicago Bears, 8-6 Philly.
That's going to be a good game.
Philadelphia Eagles. Wow. It's at home for Philly. I'm going to go with the home field advantage for Philly, and that's the only reason. Both teams are playing good enough ball to win. Both teams are hanging in. It depends upon which Cutler shows up, and that's it for me. Who do you like?
Philly at home
against
Chicago. I'm going Chicago. Taking a flyer.
All right, cool. Oh, is it?
Oh, my God. These guys.
Yeah. The timing is amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Big Pauley. This guy who's been here 2 times.
How you doing?
And we are the Wise Guys. We're here to bring you our award-winning show, We Pick the Winners. Where? Oh, we pick the winners. Now, let's start off with our bust-out game of the week. What do you got there?
Okay, Big Pauley. Our bust-out game of the week has the 10-4 New Orleans Saints at the 10-4 Carolina Panthers. You notice I didn't say Charlotte.
Yes.
Because that knucklehead over there doesn't know what the name of the game is.
He doesn't even know what team's playing.
You got Drew Brees against the Superman, the Man of Steel. What's his name? Cam Newton.
Yep.
Okay, in Carolina this week. Okay, last time they played him a couple weeks ago, they played him in New Orleans, and New Orleans won.
Yeah.
Okay. Carolina and New Orleans, now they're battling out for the division title. I like Carolina at home in a squeaker, 24-21.
I am going to agree with you all the way down the board.
Wow.
Just straightforward. I think that's the same thing. I think Carolina is going to put the screws to them this time.
Okay.
And that was our bust out game of the week. And now it's time for our ironclad lock, lead pipe cinch, personally picked whack of the week. You want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'll go first.
All right,
Paulie.
there you go.
All right, my can't miss, gotta have it. Whack of the week has the 8-6 Miami Dolphins at the 5-9 Buffalo Bills as. What's his name? Tannehill, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
The quarterback taking on EJ Manuel. No, hurt. No, got. Oh, my knee. His third knee injury. He's out. We got Thad Lewis, backup quarterback, playing for Buffalo. Guess what? Ain't going to change. Even though it's in Buffalo, I like Miami in a blowout 74-3.
And I'm going to say Miami has an emotional letdown after their tarnished win over the New England Patriots from the week before. I'm picking Buffalo at home.
Ooh, that's a big, bold pick there, Paulie.
There you go. And that was your whack of the week. And now it's time for my ironclad lock, lead pipe cinch, personally picked whack of the week. My game features the 4-10 Atlanta Falcons playing at the 10-4 San Francisco 49ers. They're going all the way across the country to play. They've never been very good being a West Coast team. B, they're away. They suck when they're away. Atlanta is not going to win this game. San Francisco 49ers are going to win this game running away. Kaepernick is going to get some of his swag back on all of this, some of the stuff that's been missing this season. I say he runs for 2 touchdowns and throws for 3 more. I'm looking at 42 to 13.
No, I like that pick, Paulie. Good pick. I like the way you think.
Thank you.
I'm also going with the San Francisco 49ers. You kidding me? Atlanta is not in the same league, and San Fran's got a lot to play for, especially playoffs. I like them in a blowout 74-3.
All right, that was it. We are the Wise Guys, and thank you for listening to us on our show, We Pick the Winners, where we pick the winners. We want to say thank you to everybody who made this possible, including the people at the Whacker 6000.
That would be us.
And we want to say thank you to J. Anthony McCarthy and Steve Sabo for letting us kind of show up whenever we feel like it. All right.
Thanks for not picking our games.
Hey, well, that was
Those
it.
guys know how to pick games.
They're in, they're out, and they're done. And
That's right.
I'm out of drink,
Speaking
and
of which.
so are you. So it's been another episode of Drinks at Sunset with
The Wise Guys. All right. Yes. Unit 2.
I am going to pee, and then I'm going to leave.
Get a week has the 8-6 Miami Dolphins at the 5-9 Buffalo Bills as what's his name? Tannehill, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
The quarterback taking on EJ Manuel. No, hurt. No, got. Oh, my knee. His third knee injury. He's out. We got Thad Lewis, backup quarterback, playing for Buffalo. Guess what? Ain't going to change. Even though it's in Buffalo, I like Miami in a blowout 74-3.
And I'm going to say Miami has an emotional letdown after their tarnished win over the New England Patriots from the week before. I'm picking Buffalo at home.
Ooh, that's a big, bold pick there, Paulie.
There you go. And that was your whack of the week. And now it's time for my ironclad lock, lead pipe cinch, personally picked whack of the week. My game features the 4-10 Atlanta Falcons playing at the 10-4 San Francisco 49ers. They're going all the way across the country to play. They've never been very good being a West Coast team. B, they're away. They suck when they're away. Atlanta is not going to win this game. San Francisco 49ers are going to win this game running away. Kaepernick is going to get some of his swag back on all of this, some of the stuff that's been missing this season. I say he runs for 2 touchdowns and throws for 3 more. I'm looking at 42 to 13.
No, I like that pick, Paulie. Good pick. I like the way you think.
Thank you.
I'm also going with the San Francisco 49ers. You kidding me? Atlanta is not in the same league, and San Fran's got a lot to play for, especially playoffs. I like them in a blowout 74-3.
All right, that was it. We are the Wise Guys, and thank you for listening to us on our show, We Pick the Winners, where we pick the winners. We want to say thank you to everybody who made this possible, including the people at the Whacker 6000.
That would be us.
And we want to say thank you to J. Anthony McCarthy and Steve Sabo for letting us kind of show up whenever we feel like it. All right.
Thanks for not picking our games.
Hey, well, that was
Those
it.
guys know how to pick games.
They're in, they're out, and they're done. And
That's right.
I'm out of drink,
Speaking
and
of which.
so are you. So it's been another episode of Drinks at Sunset with
The Wise Guys.
Thank you for joining us on Drinks at Sunset with the Wise Guys. That's all the great original entertainment we have for you tonight. Join us next week for more original entertainment. We now return you to our regularly scheduled programming. Oh, here we go. I believe it's the electronic techno wee rubba dee dee da rah music. Have a pleasant evening and be safe, not stupid, for the boogeyman will find you and wipe a boogie on you. Good night and sweet dreams.